In this tutorial, I'd like to cover some of the intricacies of SliderConstructor. So first off, if you're familiar with the WP query portion of WordPress, this will make a lot of sense to you. SliderConstructor is essentially just a visual interface for configuring a WP query. So one thing I want to go over is that once you manually rearrange these slides by dragging and dropping them, the sort by parameter will automatically change to manual order, which means this manual order setting, these are post IDs here, and this becomes part of the query. It means that the post IDs must be in this set, 43, 47, 45, and they must be returned in this order. So that means that if you change parameters up here, it's no longer going to update like you expect, because now it's saying get posts with these IDs, but there aren't any because these are all slides. So if you've rearranged these, but now you want to change the query, you have to come back over to sort by and change it back. The default is date. But you can also sort by all sorts of other things, like author, title, etc. The other thing I want to cover is using multiple post types. So it's pretty easy to make a slider that uses slides or just posts. When you're with slides, you can choose by slide category, and when you're with posts, you can choose by blog post category, and with portfolios, you can choose via portfolio category, etc. But if you've chosen two of them, any categories you choose, this is just by virtue of the way WP query works, has to match for every post, and that's not possible with blog post category or slide category, because slide categories aren't applied to posts and post categories aren't applied to slides. So for example, if I choose a slide category and a blog post category, I get nothing because no post in the database will match both blog post categories and slide categories, because no post is both a slide and a blog post. So if you're using multiple post types, you can't use the categories. You can still use everything else. The author is still valid. The limit is still valid. So what you might end up having to do is, if you've got all slides and posts, but we don't want hello world as part of this, so you can actually just delete one of these by clicking this X over here, and it'll remove it. But again, keep in mind that this now is a manual post order. So the order is set here. The sort by has been changed to manual. I also want you to keep in mind that we're defining a query, and unless we've set the sort by to manual, we're not actually defining a set of posts, it's just a set of parameters. So that means that in the future, so if we've got our set of slides here in the main slider category, we've got 3 slides. So let's save that, and we can see that it shows up here in our sliders. We've got 3 slides. But let's say we add a new slide later to the main slider category. Now that I've published that, if we refresh this My Cool New Slider, you'll see that there are actually now 4 results. So a new slide is now part of the group. That's because it matches our parameters of being a slide and being in the main slider category. So that's just something to keep in mind, that it's nice because if you want your latest 5 posts, or in this case let's use 3 posts, you can set the maximum slides to 3, set the order to descending, and then as you add new posts or new slides, the latest 3 will always be displayed in the slider, and you don't actually have to come back and change anything. So those are just some of the intricacies of SliderConstructor that I wanted to go over. Thanks.